There's a massive ranked problem going on in Marvel Rivals that demands addressing. Whether it's people sub 50% win rate and climbing, or players now turning 180 on the rank reset, there's a lot of disagreements about the rank system, but the one thing everyone agrees on is that it needs to be fixed and there are fundamental problems. So let's talk about exactly what those problems are and give direct solutions to these problems, because I believe that Marvel Rivals rank can be far better than it is, and it's actually simpler to fix than you might think. Now, real quickly, I want to give y'all a special thanks for 150 freaking thousand subscribers. I cannot believe it. Y'all are awesome, and I love this community. It's been so fun grinding Rivals, grinding content, and growing the channel with y'all's help. We're going to keep it going, but thank you so much, and let's get started. Now, before we get into the details, I want to tell you what this video is not about. This is not about denying your accomplishments or saying you can't be proud of X rank. I think this is going around the community where people love to move the goalpost and say X rank is not high elo, X rank's not even an accomplishment anymore. You can be proud of being better than you were yesterday. You can be proud of any accomplishment. We're not saying that. And this is not directly about EOMM, SBMM, or any of that other stuff. This is specifically about the problems that everyone can agree on and how to fix them. And basically this video is going to lay out the fundamental rank problems and showcase how to create the most fun, fair, and high competitive integrity rank system that we can have, because I think that's what everyone wants. Now, also know before we start that rank systems always start out rocky. They have in basically every single game I've played, from Overwatch 1 to Valorant to anything in between. Rank systems suck at the start, they get better as time goes on. So it's normal that the rank system isn't perfect right now. It can still get there. So yeah. The number one is no placements. I think this is a really big one that is an obvious slam dunk to fix. Everyone starts in bronze rank just when you start playing ranked. And it takes forever to freaking rank up, and this is just overall bad. If you have someone that doesn't belong in that rank, they're ruining a ton of games and making it not very competitive. And even if you do belong in a higher rank, it doesn't make sense to not place you near the rank that you otherwise would have, like every other game does with a placement system. It also makes the smurfing problem a lot larger than it needs to be, and I think like a 5-game placement or a 10-game placement put you in the ballpark of where you deserve to be, and then have players quickly get to the rank that the system determines you at, and then if they overexceed, they will climb out of there pretty easily, and if they underexceed, they will fall down. But it's not going to ruin a ton of games. It's not going to mix and match things by a lot. It's going to put people about where they belong. And I think that there should be performance-based SR. You know, it's going to determine how well you're playing. If you're really playing way better than everyone in the lobby, it might give you more rank, but it should stop happening past a certain rank. I think you could easily place it at Diamond, where there's the ban system, but really you could make an argument to put it anywhere. Just at a certain rank, no longer are you going to be getting giant boosts for performing really well. You're going to be getting it based on the dub, because really that's what everyone should be trying to do on a team. You should be winning, and you should have above 50% win rate to climb, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. But basically, having performance-based SR is cool for when there's going to be a giant disparity in skill, especially when players are still trying to be put relatively where they belong. But with the combination of placement matches plus a performance-based SR in the lower elos, once you get to a certain elo, it just doesn't make sense to have it. Everyone should be playing for the dub anyways and be playing to have a high win percentage. Now, also, I would say that it should be harder to make a new account that can play in comp. It's actually really easy to make a new account on Steam and then grind that account enough to make an ult. And I'm not saying making an ult should be 100% like bannable or not permissible. I just think it should be a bit harder. Don't allow people to make an ult so easily and grind a million ults all the time. Make them work a little bit harder for it so that there's just less smurfs. I think it's an easy solution to that. Make them, you know, play double as many games as they do right now, or something along those lines of quick play. Now, number two, and this one might be a bit controversial, but I think it's the most important, and it's flat-based gains and losses, especially past a certain rank. Like I said Diamond. If you win, you get 20 as an example, and if you lose 20. This means that winning is the ultimate goal. And honestly, this should always be the ultimate goal. Not padding your stats, not trying to get SVP or MVP or anything like that. The goal should be winning and doing whatever you have to win. This is what trying to be the best means. This was what trying to be good at a game means is winning and trying to win as much as possible. So, you know, basing it on anything besides that just makes absolutely no sense and creates more unfair games and a lack of transparency that I think has a lot of people even questioning the fundamental makeup of the rank system, which would just get removed if there was just flat gains and losses, 20 plus 20 down. Everyone would be just a lot more happy. But I do understand that this can be a little bit of a problem when you can't make lobbies perfectly fair. Like, if everyone has an estimated rank and there's not enough people to make up, like, perfectly even games, sometimes teams will be at a slight advantage or a slight disadvantage just because you don't want to have queue times that are like 10, 20 minutes long just to have the perfectly fair games. And, of course, as you get to the extremes, like the very, very top of the rank, for instance, it's harder to get the perfectly fair matches, right? There's not enough people that fill up those ranks at all hours of all day. So what you could do is honestly take a little page from Overwatch. I mean, this is the easy thing to do, and showcase expected wins and expected losses. So afterwards, they give you a little bit of extra SR if you were expected to lose that game, and a little bit less SR if you were expected to win that game, or you just get like just only bonuses if you were expected to lose, and that's about it. And then you just get the normal flat amount if you weren't, and then you get a little bit of extra point for win streaks, and it showcases that. Basically, it's telling you why you're getting more or less, and I think that the most important thing a rank system should be is transparent. I think that's the number one most important thing. If you want people to believe in your rank system and you want to have a fair and fun rank system people like to grind, you have to tell people why they're moving and gaining. If you just like randomly give me, oh, hey, I gained 26 this game. Oh, I only gained 17 this game. Why? Why is this happening? Why is it so different? I don't understand. And if you don't tell me, I won't know. And I think that's really important to have. And yeah, I mean, basically just steal the best parts about the rank systems now and how they developed. I mean, the Overwatch rank system used to be terrible, and then it was like good towards the end of Overwatch 1, and then it was really bad at the start of Overwatch 2, and now it's really good. So there's things that they do right and wrong, and you can learn from those and steal the good things and put them into your rank system. Now, another problem that is going on with the rank system as a whole and causes people to not like respect certain ranks or believe a certain rank is a certain achievement. Not that that really should be a discussion anyways, but this is the reason why. It's because ranks are meaning different things depending on when you got them at certain parts of the season. Basically, ranks have constantly been going up throughout the season and are still going up, where the top players are gradually pushing up and up, higher and higher and higher. So, you know, at the very, very beginning, Diamond was even a high rank. I mean, I was Eternity last season and I got placed all the way in Plat. And when I ranked up one rank, I was in the 99.9 percentile, right? Which now I just ranked up to Eternity in Season 2, and I was like the 99.8 percentile. So that means towards the beginning of the season, when I ranked up, I was technically higher rank when, you know, I made it to Diamond 3 than I am right now at Eternity. It's a weird thing to think about, but that's just what's happening in the rank system, and it's constantly moving. So, you know, like Grandmaster at one part of the season might not be the same as Grandmaster at another part of the season. And I think that this is pretty silly that this is happening. A rank should mean a certain percentile or a certain threshold of skill that just doesn't change throughout the season. Like, a certain rank should be like, if you're in this rank, you're approximately the top 1%. And it should stay the top 1% from beginning of season to end of season. It should not move. And so what I mean by that is there should be a top of the rank, like a top where things top out. And because of the placement system, you can put people kind of where they belong. And then there's like a natural curve where it's like a lot of people are in silver and gold, and it starts to teeter off towards plat. And then like only like 10% of people are in diamond. And then in Grandmaster, maybe it's 5%. And then in Celestial, maybe it's 2 or 1%. And Eternity is like 1 or less. And you could do that and just keep it like that forever. Because it's super strange for you to like work really hard at a rank and, you know, maybe you're really, really, really improving, but you're gonna jump like 2 ranks instead of 1. Even though you only improved about 1, but the rank system is also moving upwards, it just causes all this like confusion and complication, and it's hard to even gauge how much you are improving, even though you are improving. And I think that all this, like, it's not a lack of transparency, but it almost feels like it in the fact that you don't really know how good you are, how much you're improving at any given moment. And I think it's silly. So make a top out, make a top rank. And what I mean by that is, let's say it's like Eternity like 300 or Eternity 500 or whatever. Have players right close to that at the start of the season through placements if they are of that skill, and then make it so that that's the top. But as people get closer and closer to that, they're maybe gaining less and less, or it's really hard to move, or maybe it's a flat number where you are only jumping people and it doesn't like tell you a direct number or something along those lines. But basically that's the roof, and then there's the floor, and then people don't move, and it just makes more sense. Now, this is also why a lot of people have been saying that rank resets should have happened. They were like, hey, we should have rank reset. It was a mistake not to. But the reality of it is you should not have to have a rank reset every half season in order for things to make any sense, right? That shows a fundamental flaw in your rank system. And I really do think that NetEase kind of knew this. They knew that there was a flaw that was going to happen. And that's why they planned the rank reset. And maybe they planned to like keep working on the rank system and fix it over time. But because there was such an outpour, a negative like outcry against the rank reset, they got rid of it. But now they didn't really have a solution for what was going to happen to rank. They knew that these problems were going to arise. So I don't know if they knew and they planned to fix it, or they knew and then their fix was just to reset the ranks every half season. That's not a good solution, right? It's not really a great solution. If you just create a better rank system that makes more sense, you don't have to do that, and things still make sense, like a ton of other rank systems, right? They don't have to reset all the time, and they still work perfectly fine. Now, the other thing, this one won't affect everybody, but I think it's important. I think there should be stacking limits, especially at the highest ranks. Maybe it's past Diamond, maybe it's past Grandmaster or Eternity or whatever rank it is. I don't know what rank it should be, but there should be stacking limits where you can't like 4-stack or 6-stack at the highest ranks of play. Because stacks and synergies are so much stronger than soloing and duoing that I really think that it ruins the competitive integrity. But I do understand that there has to be a balance here. So like as an example, I honestly do think that 3-stacks are really strong and maybe even overpowered, especially when we talk about the highest ranks of play. However, preventing people from even 3-stacking with their friends just because they're in high rank, I don't think really makes the most sense in a game that isn't trying to be like the most competitive possible, but a good combination of fun and competitive. So yeah, I think 3-stacks is probably fine, but I think we should probably limit it there. I know that this is kind of arbitrary and I'm just saying what I think, but and this is coming from someone that primarily solos queues. Sometimes I duo queue, but almost 99% of the time I solo queue. I really do think that 3-stack should be where we draw the line. And then, 2-stacks and solos are perfectly fine. And then if you are 3-stacking, you are much more likely to go up against another 3-stack. I think that makes a lot of sense too, so that you're not getting 2 3-stacks against like a whole bunch of solos. That's just nonsense, and I think it should tell us, once again, transparency. Even if this is already happening behind the scenes, tell us that it's happening. Let us know so that we know what's going on, right? Transparency, important. It always is, and in ranked systems especially. Then number 5, this is another one that might be controversial to some, but I think it's really important, and it's the forced transparency of profiles or add preferred heroes, or both. So what I mean by that is I think that players should be able to state what top 3 heroes they want to play or are good with. So like imagine if you had a little thing that you could like fill out and it was like, what 3 heroes are you most competent with? And then, for me, I could say number 1, The Thing, number 2, Bucky, number 3, Thor, or something like that. And I put it up there. And when people they hover me on my team, they can say, oh, this guy really wants to play The Thing, but he can also play a good Bucky. So maybe I won't ban Bucky because I'm a tank player and I can play tank, and they can kind of visualize the comp, right? They can figure out what people want to play and try to make it work, try to make it reasonable. And I think that's just good. Once again, more transparency is great. The same philosophy, right, is if people know, because I think a common experience is that, people ban each other's mains, and, sometimes you'll play a whole game not knowing that someone is not on the character they want to be on. They like someone that's a tank player is filling support, and someone that's a support player is filling tank, and there's just like a lot of nonsense going. It happens all the time, and I think that this is an easy way to fix that. And I think that having a forced transparent profile, this mainly comes down to not being able to hide a public game. Like if you participated in a public game, you should not be able to hide your profile so other people can't see. This is really common in the top 500 ladder where people play in rank, they're consistent grinders, and you just can't see their profile. Now, there's a couple of reasons I think that this should be public. Number 1, you're playing in a public game, so that should be public knowledge. I think that that's fair, and if you're in the top 500, it should be public. Everyone should be able to look at it. They should be able to research from it, learn strats, see what you're doing. And it also helps with anti-cheating. The replay system's great for detecting cheaters. So being able to look at people and analyze whether they're cheating or not is important. And being able to block that, I don't think should be possible. So This is different for like a private game. If you were playing in a private game, so you're playing in a tournament or scrims or whatever, that should not be viewable, and it should be possible to hide that because it makes sense because you're trying to keep strats and stuff that you're practicing, and we don't want people to like have to make ults just to scrim. That's just silly. But for public games, 100%, I think they should be forced public. This one might be another controversial opinion, but it is mine. The number 6, I think this one's really important. Give more diverse rewards to high ranks and basically all ranks. So one of the reasons I believe that they did not want to put in placements, or they don't want to put in placements, and they did want to do a rank reset, has to do with the skin you earn for hitting gold, right? Everyone gets a skin when they hit gold, and I think that that's a really good incentivizer to grind ranked. I'm of course, as someone that's an educational content creator, I'm pretty biased in that regard, where I want people to care about ranked and want to grind it, but I do think that it makes sense that they want people to participate and grind ranked, and I think it's a great incentive. It's a good one, and gold isn't like a crazy high need to reach, right? It's not like some high rank that's impossible for the average gamer to grind if they put in some effort and put in some work and subscribe to Coach Mills, right? But the most important thing here, though, is that you're not incentivizing people past that. So if you have a placement system and someone gets placed in, like, I don't know, Grandmaster, they don't have any incentive anymore. They don't have any incentive at all. I think it also makes people stay kind of towards the bottom of certain ranks. We're seeing like a giant spiking people towards the bottom of like Diamond 3 and Grandmaster 3 and Celestial 3, which I don't think is a great thing because people are like getting to a rank and then they're stopping. But also, they're not going to, like, keep trying for the next rank. There's no real reason to. There's certain banners at certain ranks, but they're not really that flashy. So this is what I would suggest that I think could kind of fix all these problems. And what it would be is that there's a skin, right, that you unlock, and there's something about that skin that is slightly different for every rank. Maybe the skin is a certain color and they're wearing like an arm patch or something like that. Maybe they have like a visor on or something. Let's just say it's a Hawkeye skin with a visor, and the visor is like a different color depending on the rank. And then, you know, it's like you're leveling it up. Or there's a skin that looks a little bit better from gold. As you climb the ranks, it just adds something. It adds like a little pin, or it changes the color or whatever. Colored armband, slight skin modification, so that there's something to gain at every single rank. And then I'm thinking, like, you know, in one above all, if you end at a number, what if there was like a goddamn, like, I don't know, I'm thinking a jersey. I don't know why I have NBA on the brain. What if you had like a jersey that had the number on a character? I don't, that's just crazy. But like, just like something that signifies you got a certain rank. Maybe it's etched in the skin or something like that, like a certain number. Just give everyone a reason to grind. If this is a problem and something that you want to enforce, which I know it is, give everyone a reason to grind no matter what. Give someone something cool no matter what. And then, you know, I think that's really cool for everybody. Everyone wins and everyone's grinding. Doesn't matter about a placements or anything like that. And I think it would be actually not that difficult to implement, to be honest. Now, the last thing comes down to the tracking websites and the ability for people to look at other people's accounts when they queue up into them, even if they are privated. So I know that there are some software or whatever the case may be where they can see what the opponent plays, even if they are private, when they queue up in a lobby with them. This is what I've been told that people have been using. I don't know the full details because I don't even really want to look into it myself, because I don't want to get in trouble looking in or downloading or whatever any of this software. But I will say that that should be not allowed, like straight up. Of course, it just kind of defeats the purpose of being able to hide your name and stuff like that. Don't allow the enemy to ban what you play just because they have whatever software. So yeah, it seems pretty reasonable to ban that. And overall, these are all just general suggestions I have to fix the rank system. I think these are a good core of ideas that, if implemented, would make the rank system far better than it is right now. And it's basically just built on the desire to win and making winning the highest priority, creating transparency between the rank system and the player, and between the players and each other, and discouraging certain things that are, you know, ranked abuse, or, you know, can be perceived to be a lack of competitive integrity as far as high levels of stacking or high numbers of stacking. All of that, I think, is a really big deal, and also discouraging smurfing, of course. And I think this would actually fix the rank system problem, but I want to hear your opinion on it. Do you agree with everything I'm saying? Are there things you disagree with? Are there different changes that you would make? I'm just one guy with an opinion, so I'm curious about yours. Let me know in the comments down below. But definitely smash that like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, if it made you think a little bit, and I'll see you next time.